Hey, welcome back to Yes, Quit Your Day Job. I'm Seven Dunbar. Today's guest is Ocelot, an underground rapper out of Utah who's carved a path into the industrial and hip hop worlds, collaborating with legends like KMFDM, as you can see by his shirt. Even jumping on stage with Fred Durst. We're gonna dive into how he's building his career and what lessons up and coming artists can take away from his journey. So, yeah, jumping right in. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Y'all, my name's Ocelot, number one gunner, number one stunner, jack of all trades, master of none. That means uh, blessed to be on here. Seven, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Oh,
It's been a long journey. We met on tour 11 years ago.
oh, has it been that long? Jeez.
Nine. It was either 2015 or 2013 that we were out on the run. So yeah, it's been
Yeah,
that long, man.
we were on the 2015 and the 2011.
Okay,
Yeah,
2015 Salvation Tour.
yeah, we got to get back out with those guys. It's been too long.
Yeah, me too.
I had Sasha on a couple weeks ago, and I had Lucia on a couple weeks before that. Her and I were able to catch up when she came through with Lords of Acid. So it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
it was
I was out of town when she was here for that. It's kind of bummed. I definitely wanted to see
yeah.
her solo performance for that. So
I was really impressed. I just moved to San Diego a week before the show, so I was
nice.
brand new here. And I had been moving and everything, and I wasn't really paying attention. And I thought she was like doing guest vocals with Lords of Acid because they switch out the vocalists a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. I think that's just because in house they got a lot of fucking problems.
it's industrial, man. It's how it always is. But
Yeah, right. We've seen that. We've seen that.
yeah, so I didn't even know. And then when she came out, I was like, oh, this is like her thing. So I was impressed. But yeah, man, jumping right in, like. What made you start rapping in Utah of all places? Like when I think
I
Utah,
mean,
I don't think rap, hip
I
hop.
mean, nothing made me start rapping in Utah. I had been rapping and I just landed in Utah.
Okay.
I had a falling out with a team member in 2014, the day after the last day of Warped Tour,
Oh wow.
2014, and that happened in Salt Lake City. And no lie, they kicked me to the curb, told me I didn't have a fucking ride to California to go get my car. So I called my one contact that I had out here in Utah, and I mean, the rest is absolute fucking history. I mean, really, like from that phone call, it was just hey, I know somebody who's a solid motherfucker. Let me call him, tell me I just got fucked. And Utah's been nothing but fucking good for me since that day. I literally got a fucking Greyhound ticket to get out to California to go get my car, came back here, got a job, and I was painting an old folks home. Then next thing you know, I'm working in this venue, that venue, this venue, that venue. And again, like I said, I didn't decide to start rapping in Utah. I just happened to be in Utah, had been rapping for, at that point, almost 20 years
Wow.
in the long run of things. It'd been because it was 2014 when I came out here. So, and I met my wife out here. My kid was born here. My next kid's going to be born here. Utah is a spot, you know what I mean? I'm from the Midwest. I'm also an Army brat, so my dad retired in Michigan, where the rest of my family's at and from originally. That's where I spent, the later part of my childhood years.
Gotcha.
But I'm an Army brat, so I've been, all over Europe and all over the United States as a kid. But, it's creeping up on Utah being the place I've lived in the longest. Funny enough, I've never lived in a place longer than 10 or 11 years my entire life. So, I've, for the most part, before I moved to Michigan, I've been anywhere only 3 years tops, but Utah is about to take the cake as place I've lived in longest my whole life. So, I'm
Yeah,
stoked. It's a great place out here, man.
I can relate to that because I'm originally from Florida. I lived there 30 years. California is what I consider home now. Like that's, even I've been bouncing around the Southwest for the last couple of years
Yeah.
in Vegas and in Phoenix and in Idaho. California is always like, oh, that's my home, So I get that.
maybe there's a little bit of me that was like, oh, Utah, I can take the crown here. You know what I mean? Fuck it, dog. Like,
Right,
you know,
right.
I'll team up with the baddest motherfuckers in this city, and everything that I do, I'll be the best at it. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to
And
do it.
honestly, that would have been the way I would have dove into any city. You know what I mean? You know, also as far as like the whole rapping thing here in Utah, like once I started really getting into the city and just working in the city, and I was working in venues and working with from promoters to everyone and anyone, it just worked out really great to say, wow, there's great music in this town
Yeah,
that comes through, as well as there's great music in this town, and to be a part of a city that isn't directly on a lot of people's maps for music, you know what I mean, let alone for hip hop. And it's been good, got good peoples out here, good team, and a lot of really good hip hop heads out here in Utah, just like any fans, they're selective, where they want to spend their money, who they want to support. Are they friends and supporters, or are they fans? You know what I mean? And just like you get
big
anywhere,
difference.
you have to like move through the mix of that anywhere you're at. Some of your shows you're gonna have some fans. Some of your shows you're gonna have a whole lot of friends who are just friends and not fans to say they're gonna bleed for you and fucking write you a fucking letter and send it to your home address when some dickhead posted on fucking line. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We want those, but most of the time, at our level, we are working with supporters that become fans. But right now, this far into my career, our goal is to make fans, and then, years down the road, become friends with some of those people that support us that much. So
that's the way to do
Utah's
it,
been
man.
good as far as music goes.
What were some of your first steps for getting noticed? Was it like building the scene with local shows or social media or mixtapes, or like how did you get things really ramping up?
I was in Michigan. I really, really went hard with rap. Sometime around, well, in '99, when I got out of the military, I went back to Michigan, and I was introduced to the entire world of, I've been, writing raps, rapping in high school with all the homies, you know what I mean, freestyle and whatnot, this and that. But it wasn't until that point in '99 when I came home and my brother just laid out to me, what this music was that we've been listening to for the past 15 to 20 years. And it was, the four elements of hip hop, the graffiti, the breaking, the DJing, the rapping, and really diving into that essence and being around real MCs, being around real DJs, around real graph writers. I was rapping as a kid in high school, but I wasn't an MC by any means. Definitely not going to sit here and say that I was an MC when I was 16, 17 years old. Um, I wasn't a rapper. I was rapping with my friends, but I was not it. And just being in that world for a little bit, and then some shit happened, and I ended up in jail for like 90 days. I wrote like fucking 8 or 9 songs in jail with no music, you know what I mean? So I wrote a bunch of tracks with the cat that I met while I was in there. And I got out, and within the first week of being out, I was on stage performing one of the songs that I wrote while I was locked up.
Nice.
And, years prior to that too, like I was telling my homies when I was leaving the military, the homies that I was kicking it with, it's like, yo, I'm gonna be a rapper someday. I'm gonna be an MC someday. It's never like, I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be rich. But I told everybody I'm gonna be a fucking rapper someday. So that had been a
Yeah,
thing for a number of years, being involved with the rave scene and seeing how that all evolved and that all mixes in because back in the day, in, the come up of the rave scene and the rap world and the hip hop world, like you go to raves and there's MCs in the jungle room, there's b-boys in every room. In the back of every room, there was a big ass circle with ciphers going on where crews were battling, people were just freestyle dancing, but like a lot of that was mixed in. So like I was already within that world of, understanding hip hop, not just as something to be entertained by, but also to learn how to entertain not just yourself, but the people around you as well, from dancing to rapping. And when I hit the ground running, when I got out of jail, like I knew like I wanted to fucking rap. At that time I felt like, I didn't know, I wasn't where the point I was at with the talent level of what I wanted to be. A lot of that came with, years of delivery and style, but you know, also at that time, my writing that I was doing was just notebook after notebook after notebook after notebook. Um, and, you know, I got into a rap group. I was with another cat, still doing some solo stuff all within it, and just kept plugging away, kept plugging away, kept plugging away. And, you know, it was, I don't know what the one thing was, man, but like it hit home to me at some point that it was like, I'm gonna be a fucking MC. I'm gonna pursue this path. So, you know, I had to, you know, work jobs like any normal human being does and still has to do, to say, okay, let me just, you know, support a lifestyle of being able to just stay healthy, alive, and out of jail. But meanwhile, also, you know, dive into this world of music. And I left Michigan I left Michigan after I got out of jail a few years later. But I was off probation. There was no papers. I wasn't locked down to anything anymore. And I left Michigan and put a fucking dot on the map, in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, where a friend of mine was living at the time. And I heard a story about a hip hop group I was a big fan of that I'd done a show with in Michigan at the time, and they were touring through there. They got like 2 songs into their set one night in one of the venues in town. The crowd was so fucking insane and so high energy that 2 songs in, they broke the main support beams in the floor, and there was a venue underneath. So instantly, show's over, clear the venue. The venue never
Yeah.
opened up again. They closed the motherfucking building down. You know, they broke the bitch, and it was over. So I literally, and since that had happened, a lot of things just stopped coming to that town. Hip hop music specifically. So I moved there with the goal to, you know, start anew, you know, get the fuck out of Michigan, but at the
Yeah.
same time say, I'm bringing hip hop music to this town. I'm going to bring hip hop, and I'm going to bring that band back to this town and sell a fucking show out again in this town. And, you know, yeah, in my brain, you know, there wasn't this sinister plot to be like, every show I book, I'm going to rap on and blah, blah, blah. But no, I was fucking dope. I was the only motherfucker in town doing the shit. And we did it, you know, and that just kept continuing to fucking catapult and snowball and just moved into new things. And, you know, it was really just, you know, I don't know what it was, but at some point within that, like 99 to like 2003, I discovered that, you know, I was always going to have a microphone in my hand and nobody could ever take it from me. And I was going to do what I could do to be the best at it, you know, and have fun. You know, I wasn't focused on being rich and famous. I just wanted to do the art.
Yeah. I think that that's the way to do it. The people that are just like, this is part of who I am and what I'm going to do, are the ones that wind up getting the success or the fame or the money. And the ones that are like, oh, I just want to be rich and famous, are the ones that almost always don't, you know, because they don't have that passion for it.
Let's be honest though. If you've got a passion for being rich, awesome. But that passion is going to be fucking beat down and fucking kicked to shit, because guess what? Fucking needle in a fucking haystack with a fucking rapper that's making real fucking money. You know what I mean? Like real talk, an artist that's making real money, you know? And it's like, I never got angry at hip hop music. I've never been mad at hip hop music. Do I think things about the industry suck? Sure. But am I mad about those things? Has the industry fucked me? No, never. Why? Because I wasn't out to make sure that the industry was the one thing to work for me. I was out to make sure that I could make art and enjoy the culture and try to, you know, honest to God, emulate the things that made me be what I am today. You know, like if I can make a song and people can hear 10 different influences in that were my influences growing up, and they can shout those out to me without me telling them that, I'm happy for that. I ain't biting nobody's shit. I ain't doing none of that shit. Like
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day, like 20 years ago, easy. It was one of the songs that I wrote when I was locked up. After I got out, I literally had somebody hit me up one day and say to me that they heard that I bit an entire Outcast song and recorded it, and that was this track, and I was just like, in what world does I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know biting lyrics was a thing back then. So it was like, and it was a big like word alliteration thing. It was like I used like 300 different fucking movie titles and references inside of a track, you know what I mean? And used
Yeah.
all of my lyrics were that. It's kind of like Kunst is all KMFDM song names. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the entire lyrics of it are song names. So, and it was just randomly, you put that much shit together at some point, maybe somebody's going to say two fucking metaphors that are the same about two random movies that we're all influenced about. And I think that's what it was. At some point, somebody just heard something. We're like, oh my God, that sounds like what this guy wrote over here. You bit that off of that rapper. And I was like, you guys are fucking retarded, dude.
It's like, oh, you mentioned Scarface, and 10 other rappers did too, right?
Yeah. Say hello to my little friend. You stole that. Yeah, whatever. Fucking weirdo.
How'd you stay motivated when there wasn't like a clear path forward?
Fuck, dude. Just day to day, man. I mean, real talk, day to day, man. I was doing all that shit in Steamboat. Like before I moved to Colorado, I was in and out of mom and dad's house. You know what I mean? I was in and out of drug houses, in and out of jail. Real talk. I don't talk a lot about that kind of shit, but like, I was on a shitty path just in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I wasn't pushing towards that goal at that time. I was just, I was still just making art, doing my shit, driving without a license, fucking smoking weed in my car, fucking, getting other dumb charges and shit, and just, I was just living life. You know what I mean? So there wasn't that idea in my brain at that point in time before 2007 of like keeping that motivation to push up to get to that point where I want to get to. I didn't know where the fuck I wanted to get to, because I was on probation. I was in and out of jail. I was on drugs. Like I didn't have the light at the end of the first tunnel I was looking for. You know what I mean? Like
You're
I
just
didn't
going
see
day to
that.
day.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when I got to Steamboat, I was doing all that shit. I started managing a group. We were touring through Colorado, through Montana, New Mexico, Utah, the whole like regional Rocky Mountain area, all the ski towns and shit. Touring
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
lot of great hip hop artists. And then when I left Steamboat, was actually when I got off dope. And when I say dope, cocaine. I was just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't own a business here. I'm not a fucking millionaire. I can't afford it here. And all my fucking friends are still doing drugs. I need to get the fuck out of here. So I went out on tour. I was living out of my fucking car and out of the tour bus, the tour van at the time, for
Yeah.
the next year and a half, 2 years. I was living on the road 100% in my car, not knowing what the next day was going to fucking bring, not knowing what city we were going to go to, just with a quest of something. And when I say something, I knew music was it. We were full time involved with music, as homeless as we were in our car traveling across the country. We were
Yeah.
building off of the networks that we had built on over the years and that we built on through Warped Tour. In every goddamn city in America, we had a network of something happening. So we would drive into these cities, go to open mic nights, have these meetings, discuss things about the future of Warped Tour for us, not Warped Tour as a whole, but what we were doing out there, and bring another
Yeah, yeah.
artist on. And, but, at the time it was, I was just living out of my motherfucking car. I lived anywhere between Colorado, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and Austin, Texas in that given time, from couch surfing to, like I said, sleeping in my car and on fucking off ramps and shit in construction sites, and waking up and being surrounded by fucking bulldozers and beep, beep, beep. It's like, oh shit, fuck, you know, um, you know, the motivation honestly was just knowing that I was alive, and as long as I was alive, I had a good family. I have a good support system in general. Um, was that something that was always helping me out there more than just mentally and emotionally and spiritually? No, it was always just an emotional help to know that I had a good upbringing. I knew right from wrong. I knew I needed to look for something better every day. You know what I mean? But we had some real shit going on, and also at the heart of it, I still, even though I started artist management, tour management, stage management, I was still writing raps. I was still making the art. And in my mind, I'm still better than all these motherfuckers that I was rapping with. You know what I mean? And I mean that
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the utmost respect of all the guys that I rock with that were dope, that are dope, that feel the same way about me that I feel about them. You know what I mean? If you don't think you're the dopest, why the fuck are you doing it? You know what I mean? And I'm not doing it to be the dopest. I just feel that I am. So all of that motivation, young, cocky, me, it was just, I knew that there was something we were working for and we were doing it together. When you're with a team also, it feels like anything's possible. Um, and also being sober at the time through all that. Once that shit really started, being sober, like California sober, I'm fucking hell of a stoner. Whatever you want to call that, California sober, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's
But like being sober at that point was really what just allowed me to stay motivated, to stay driven, to stay focused on, if anything, at the end of the day, me getting to a point where I'm comfortable, I'm successful, I'm doing the right thing, I've got the right things in my life, the right people coming into my life. And success for me, I never had a level of what success was. I never had a point to be like, that's what success is. It's a feeling for me. I come from a military family, like, transparency, 22 years, my dad in the army, a soldier in the military for 22 years, especially through the 70s and 80s. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of, hey, push to go do something great when you get out. You know what I mean? It was, be a great soldier, be a great family man, do these things. So those were the things I was learning as a kid, it was be a good dad, be a good husband, be a good soldier. And I ended up doing that. I was in the military for a few years. But, like, I didn't have these other goals to reach towards. I just had something to reach towards as far as say, okay, my ultimate goal is me being alive, being comfortable, and probably being married with kids someday. You know what I mean? But also still fucking rapping. I didn't know how that was going to happen, but I guess something I did leave out was within all this, one of the most motivating factors was when I realized right before I got into artist management, the day that I saw the artist for the first time that I ended up managing later, I realized how many more talented people there are in this world besides me also at that point. And I was like, wow, I want to make money off of music.
yeah.
I don't have to make money off of my own music to survive. Let me figure out how to make money off of music. So that was where it was at right there. I was like, okay, I can figure out how to make money off of music. Doesn't have to be my own, but I can get paid every day by music, from music, for music, and with it. And that also allowed me to really, really set back in the comfort of saying, nobody can ever take that pen from me. Nobody can ever take a fucking stage from me. And nobody's fucking better than me. I'm always going to rap. Nobody can take a stage from me. Like, I'm fucking 45 years old. I've been putting myself on stages because of the things that I've done, the hard work I bring, and the people that I know. Those are the things, you know what I mean? And that hard work is a great show, good person showing up, shaking good hands. That really just set things to the point to be like, okay, that's always going to be there. But where's my future at? My future isn't getting paid in rap because I haven't ever got paid in rap. We figure out how to make that money real quick. And, next thing I know, I'm making money rocking, just running shows. We've all been there. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
early part
yeah.
in our career, it was, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but okay, I'm going to move some guitar amps around for a little bit. And I'm going to help these guys get over to this green room here. And then we're going to, is this XLR DMX? What the fuck is a DMX cable? All the things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that diving into working and actually getting paid in the industry was the thing that said, okay, now you can just go.
Yeah.
This is your green light to say, okay, let's just be around music all the time. And then whenever you can write music, you can write music. Whenever you can rap, you can rap, whether you're a solo artist or in a group. So that was a big part of that, like 2007 to actually that was 2007 to like 2015, like that world in there. With all the touring I was doing in the Rocky Mountains, and then the Warped Tour years. I was on Warped Tour for 3 years, and that really
What were
just
you doing
pushed
on
everything.
Warped Tour?
I was stage managing, assistant tour managing, and rapping for a small DIY stage that was out there. We had a 10 by 30 plot every day, that we had to race in at 7 a.m. and fucking pray that they gave us a good spot. And we set
Yeah.
up our own little PA. We set up our own little activation. You know, it was 2 years. We brought out like a full like wooden boombox front to the tents. So we would set up a whole like boombox front, and the DJ would be DJing from the where the cassette tape would be, and then the rappers would be out front rapping and shit. And so we would just
Oh,
do
cool.
city to city every day with Warped Tour, doing that, you know. And like I said, with that network we were building, every new city we'd go to with Warped Tour, we would pick up or work with right there just for that show, local artists there. They would come in,
Yeah,
they'd perform on our stage, and then the root team, which was made up of all rappers, which was fucking stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean that from a production stance, because working with a bunch of rappers who just want to be out there rapping doesn't work great. It's achievable, but teaching a lot of people that are there to be talent how to work their balls off and get dirty is a big learning curve for everybody, myself included, you know?
sure.
Um, yeah, because I was like the drill sergeant out there. I ain't know that I'm not supposed to just cuss and yell at motherfuckers. That's all I was doing, you know?
I mean, on
Um,
tour, I feel like that's kind of par for the course. That happens.
yeah, but it was drill sergeant-y. But also like I've seen the drill sergeant-y in big PMs and things like that, you know, not maybe not quite the same, because I'd be motherfuckers, what the fuck are you doing? You stupid mother, get your fucking ass. I was on one. So like there was a few times where I have like the headliners on our tour. You know, these guys weren't working with us. They were actually the headliners on our run, you know, that performed every day on our stage. I have them come to me like once or twice in the first few weeks of the tour and be like, yo, you can't talk to everybody like that, dog. Like you can't do that to people. And I'm like, wait, you can't? What do you mean you can't? Like, it worked for me when I was a kid, you know? And I don't mean when I
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
kid, like my dad didn't fucking beat my ass and yell at me, you know what I mean? But it's like the assertiveness, the stern, the yelling, oh, you fucked up? Somebody's gonna fucking tell you about it right now and fucking tell you how to do it fucking right until you get it right, you fucking morons. Anyways, that was where my brain was at. You know, I didn't
yeah,
understand
yeah,
that, like, oh, this guy who grew up like this over here and that guy who grew up like this over here can't take somebody talking to him the same way.
yeah,
And I understand that. I appreciate that now. I didn't understand that then. I didn't even appreciate it then. But as my guys kept telling me that shit, I realized like, okay, like I can't do that. I need to step back. So like, yeah, that was a big part of me for a long time, and I learned a lot. Like I said, that learning curve of like I can't always treat everybody like I've been treated and I've received things well this way. You know, I
yeah,
can handle a motherfucker yelling in my face and knowing, dude, it's just a job, man. Like you're gonna go home and your wife's gonna yell at you tonight, dude. Like, get out of my face, drill sergeant. You know what I mean? Like, and people don't understand that always. You know, like in the military, people don't understand that. Like, this dickhead drill sergeant goes home and he can't even walk 2 steps into his house without taking his shoes off, without his wife yelling at him. You know what I mean? It's like he's a human being. Like, turn the switch on and off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only doing this because I believe it's gonna help you. I'm not doing this because I want to hurt you. You know what I mean?
right,
Those kinds
right.
of things. Yeah, that
How
was my work tour situation.
nice. How did you first connect with KMFDM? Like, what move put you on their radar?
Another random, very random. Warp Tour was a random thing. The 13, I had just finished Warp Tour, and I ended up going home to Michigan. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go see my parents for a bit. You know what I mean? I had nowhere else to go. Uh, Went home in Michigan. KMFDM was on tour. It was 2013, and my buddy Charlie Griggs was out with KMFDM,
Okay,
doing merch. And I was going to go to the show in Detroit. Charlie was in Chicago the night before with KMFDM. I was going to go to Detroit, say what's up, check out one of my favorite bands. You know what I mean? And for the first time ever, didn't even know they were touring again. You know, all those things. Charlie calls me up in Chicago the day before, and he was like, "Hey, you still come to the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Can you pack a bag?" And I'm like, say the word, bro. What's up? He was like, you ever done merch before? And I'm like, no. He goes, fuck it. Don't tell him. And I'm like, cause I mean, I was at that point, like I was a halfway like upcoming OG. You know what I mean? No,
yeah,
nobody knew but me that I was going to be an OG, but you know, uh, so he was like, fuck it. Don't tell him, you know, like I've sold some merch. I kind of know, but like I've definitely never gone on a tour, done fucking inventory, drop ships, all that shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Never done it. But he was like, fuck it, don't tell him. But can you come do the show? And I probably need you to take my spot on this tour because my dad's in the hospital. He's about to have surgery. I got to get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I'm flying
Life
out of
happens.
Detroit tomorrow. So yeah, that shit happens, man. A lot of times on tour. So
Yeah.
I get out to Detroit. I think I took the train out, because I was gonna drive, but, so I took the train out, show up to the show, man, and I meet up with Charlie. He walks me onto the bus, and the first vibe I got was another fucking hip hopper. Like, that was what I got. Like, and when I say not in a bad way, it wasn't like anybody looked at me like, who the fuck is this motherfucker?
Right,
Everybody
right.
welcomed me with open arms. Hey, how you doing? My name's Andy. My name's Steve. Because it was Andy. It was Andy, Steve, and Jules.
Jules.
Andy,
Yeah.
Steve, and Jules. And of course, Sasha and Lucia. So, welcomed, open arms. First night, did merch, knocked it out the park. Next few days, continued knocking it out the park. Blah 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 blah. And it kind of worked from night one, as far as the vibe in the bus and the band, and me just kind of being one of those guys that like, hey, I'm here to do a job, but I'm also gonna at least let people know who I am as far as my character, and I'm not gonna fucking get on the bus and just fucking shut down and be like, hey guys, I'm on my bunk, or But I don't drink alcohol. And I don't do drugs
And
anymore. So it's like, I wasn't like a case. They didn't have to worry about me. It wasn't like I came on the bus the first night fucking 4 shots deep because I was nervous after the fucking show because my first night doing merch with one of my favorite bands. I also understand that, working with bands is just working with bands, even if it is one of your favorite bands. Just keep your fucking head down, do your fucking job, shake some hands and fucking get paid. And who knows what's going to come from that?
yep.
Besides the next day, another cool show, a fucking another paycheck, and you never know. And again, like at that point, like I was just like, sweet, I am fucking selling merch for KMFDM. I had been listening to this band since 1992, 91-ish, when my brother introduced me to him right when Angst
Yeah.
came out. Like I think it was 92. Or did that come out in 94?
I don't even remember.
I think it came out in 94. Anyways, I started listening to him, in the early 90s, and, like, here I am working for him. But it wasn't like, oh my God, it was just, all right, sweet. This is really cool, pretty surreal. First tour went great. Second tour went great. Third tour went great. Fourth tour went great. Everything's been great since. It just happened. That was exactly how I got the job. And then everything just
Funny.
kind of went from there, too.
That's more often than not. You'd be surprised. I mean, you probably wouldn't, but I think other people would be surprised how often that's the case. It isn't a linear path of like, well, I put out all these resumes and somebody finally called me. It's a buddy calls you up and goes, hey, door's about to open. Are you ready to walk through it? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I had an artist call me in 2016. He's like, hey man, I'm going out on tour. I'm doing a song every night with this artist. Big artist. They were doing amphitheater tours. And he was like, could you come out and help me sell merch and, rock with me and, just help me out here.
yeah,
Also, this artist doesn't have a merch person yet. So I'm like, well, I have a merch person. I'm going to show up and take that job. You know what I mean? So I showed up. I went out to go out with the homie. I'll say the names. I went out to go out with Kosha Dills. He was on tour with Modest Yahoo, who was support for 311.
nice.
Modest didn't have a merch guy. By the end of the first night, they offered me the merch job. So I spent the next 3 weeks in the car with Kosha, and then we finished up in New York, had a few days off to go to Florida, and then continue the tour. And they were like, Ocelot, hop in the bus. We got a spot for you. And I finished the rest of the tour with him in 311. And then the very last show of the tour, which was a headlining show for Modest Yahoo in that place that the fucking tiki torch fuck faces fucking rolled around in, and some dickhead rolled over some people in his Dodge Ram fucking all those years ago, some protest.
Was
Anyway,
Charlotte,
somewhere in
North
like West
Carolina?
Virginia. Charlottesville. Anyways, that place. Um, Modest asked me last night of the tour. He was like, "Hey, you want to perform tonight? You rap, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I rap."
Yeah.
And I fucking opened up his show. The last show smashed. His fans didn't know what they were about to get. That's for sure. Like, yeah, he raps. He's great. Love Modest. But like hardcore shit, they weren't there for that. But they liked it. They loved it. And everybody in the band fucking loved it too. Everybody was stoked. You know what I mean? You know, so again, you know, you never know what's going to happen. And I don't really set out to do those kind of things, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
You
so
you
it just happened.
you also you did something, you did guest vocals with, KMFDM on a song too, right?
I'm on 3 different songs.
Oh, wow.
Wait, 3? Is it 3 or is it 4? Sorry, I'm on 3 albums, 4 songs. Is that? I can't fucking recall, dude. No, 3 albums, 3 songs. Yeah. Yeah. I'm on, there's KMF, there's Next Move, and there's Rock and Roll Monster.
So
Yes,
so as a
their last 3 albums.
I know you mentioned you're a fan of the band, but as a hip hop artist, like in industrial spaces, like how do you keep your voice authentic while collaborating like across genres like that?
You know, that's kind of the funny thing too, is like, I I didn't have to really step much outside of the box. And when I say that, like, randomly, Sasha just sent me a fucking beat. Like, he was like, "Hey, here's some shit, write to it." And it was dry beat, you know, not a lot of production into it. It wasn't a song by any means. He was
Yeah,
like, "Write
yeah.
to this. Do not worry about continuity by any means. Just fucking write to it." I was like, "All right, cool." So I wrote to it. I didn't know I had no clue that sending this back to him, he was just going to go, boop, 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 drop some shit up, create a song around my vocals and put it on a fucking record. I had no clue that was about to happen. Um,
Wow.
so like, I also, within that, like, I also knew that Sasha liked what he knows of me and what he's seen me do. He wanted me to approach it as me as he knew, and not like he wanted me to try something new. So that, like, he wanted me to tap into what I was good at and what he has seen. And so I was, you know, I just wrote this. I don't want to say casually, because by any means, I don't ever write any song casually, but I
Yeah.
wrote it with no intentions of knowing where it was going or what it was going to be. And even the content of the lyrics, like what he did with the samples that he went and found to create the song that he did for KMF, I was like, what the fuck? And here I am, like, Mr. Like, oh, I don't write any political music. I don't write any social awareness shit. Go listen to KMF and tell me I ain't talking about some fucking apocalyptic fucking war bullshit. And yeah, I say it, you know? So it's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's interesting how that came about. And then, I think Sasha honestly played to me a little bit more with what he was feeding me musically. He would feed me things that were a real W at the root of it. Didn't send me a lot of meat to a song, you know. So I didn't have a lot of those different sounds, those different distortions, those things that he throws in later, those loud sirens, those samples. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, this Sasha just can. Who knows what it's gonna be? You know what I mean? And you know, I was able to approach it very easily vocally, as far as like experimenting or even trying to think that I need to hit some sort of vocal pitch, some sort of a scream instead of a rap. Because also at the end of the fucking day, like, being a big fan of KMFDM and listening for all those years, yeah, I remember the line, "The music that we make, it's meant to be crap. We hate all music, especially rap." I've
Yeah.
had that line in my brain since the moment I heard it in the early 90s. And when I got the job, my brother said to me, he was like, "You got to ask Sasha about that line." So naturally, you know, within a few days of meeting Sasha and building even just a halfway good relationship, being like, okay, I got the job. I'm kind of part of the family already. Tour family stuff. You could feel that vibe real quick. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Sasha, that one line that you got, the music that we make is meant to be crap."
Just
And
one thing
he
real
looked
quick.
at me, dog. He looked at me. And this is the way I feel about music. This is the way that I feel about writing, and the way I feel about when I dive into entertainment, whether I'm indulging in it or diving into it to create it myself. Like, he looked up at me and he was like, "They're just fucking lyrics, man. They just fucking, they just fucking work." And I'm like, that's the most beautiful answer ever, because that's what I wanted to hear. without even knowing what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear him say that, like, it's just music, man. Like,
Yeah.
just, just write. Just write what you feel, write what comes out, write what makes sense to you, write what's funny to you, write what's depressing, write what's monumental to you, because somewhere down the line, another motherfucker's gonna say, I get
Yeah.
what he's. I don't give a fuck if it's 1 in a million people that understands exactly that line, because I don't expect most people to understand shit, but there's probably 5% of your music that everybody understands, as far as
Yeah.
lyrically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a small point. But if somebody can listen to a song of mine and they said wow or ha or damn on fucking 6 lines that hit in that whole bitch, sweet, awesome, sounds good. 1 line, I don't care, it's good. Because you got that one. Meanwhile, within the world of the million other people that someday might want to be listening to it, they're grabbing the other pieces that they missed. You know what I mean? So it's all for somebody else. Everything's for somebody else in a different way. And it's just like, I just write what's good for me. And that's when Sasha told me that, like, I was like, duh. And I'm so glad. Because, and also at that point, it gives me a sense of appreciation for saying, I'm glad I've looked up to you for this long because of that way. You know, there's many other reasons too, but it's like when an artist can tell me that and I feel that I am an artist and have that same mentality, it's like, wow, no wonder you're so fucking cool, dude. Like, that makes sense, man. Like, appreciate that.
Tell me about the Limp Bizkit thing. Like, how did that come around?
Another fucking stupid fucking Ocelot's an idiot moment. I was driving in my car last summer, just listening to the radio, NPR or whatever FM and this and that. Ad came on. They're like, blah, 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 Limp Bizkit's coming to town. We're having a sing-along contest. And I was like, sing-along contest? They were like, come on down to so-and-so's and do a sing-along contest. The winner gets to perform a song on stage with Limp Bizkit. I was like, I can win that.
I was
I
gonna
can
say,
win.
of course you, yeah.
Immediately. I didn't think I'm going to go compete. I said, I can win that. I'm going to win. And so that also the competition fell on the same day I was stage managing at the Jazz Arena for Kanye West. Kanye, like the competition was supposed to start at like 7:30. Kanye was supposed to hit stage at 8:30. My boss was like, go. So I dissed
Nice.
out, a little 25-minute drive south, you know what I mean? Bounced out of that gig, went down to the fucking gig, walked in, realized this is the fucking karaoke contest. I hate karaoke. Give me my lighter, man. I hate karaoke. My number one reason for hating karaoke is the audio.
Yeah. Yep.
Karaoke songs are shit. They're mixed the way that they want to mix them for karaoke. It's the biggest trashiest audio sound in the world. I hate the way it's trash. I don't even want to elaborate on it. Anybody who knows. You know.
Yeah.
And so I realized it's a karaoke contest. So also at that moment, even though I was there to win, I was like, you know what? If they want the quirky, nerdy chick that sings break stuff really fun, and like she does that really fun, and so they want that if they're looking for that, and she wins, or this person, awesome, sweet. It's a fucking karaoke competition. If that's what they're looking for, that's what they're looking for. But I was just gonna get up there and fucking lose my mind. So I got on stage, like a few people had gone before me, including the one guy that I knew there, that when he saw me walk in, he was like, fuck, shit.
He knew
He
it was
told me
over.
personally, he was like, as soon as I saw you walk in, I knew I was fucked. But I got on stage and I said to the karaoke guy, I was like, hey, could you please pull all the reverb off of my vocals? Because he had just like reverb cranked on all the fucking people's shit. And they didn't
Of
know any
course.
better. They're fucking
Yeah.
karaoke drunk people at a bar, you know? And so I was like, please take all the reverb out. And since you don't have any fucking monitors up here, I'm just going to jump on the fucking ground off the stage and rap this in front of the people. So I got down fucking, I don't remember. I might have done Rollin', I think, maybe. They didn't have the song on there that I wanted to do. They give me
Okay.
a list. Funny enough, I didn't find out until after I was done performing that the song I wanted to do, they wanted to have on a list. Funny enough, I'm a smart dude. I'm a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, Limp Bizkit's doing this thing, right? They're doing this thing on tour. Let me dive into the tour. Boom, boom, boom. I found like 2 nights on the run where they had brought somebody out to do a song, and not they start doing a track and they pull somebody from the fucking barricade to sing the rest of break stuff with. Is they
Yeah.
brought somebody on stage to sing a song with. And I noticed that they were doing the song "Turn It Up, Bitch." The 2 times I saw, the only 2 times they had done it, the song was "Turn It Up, Bitch." It was off their last album, like 2019 or 2021. Might have been 2021. Anyways, kind of a slept on Limp Bizkit album. It was right when they got back together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, so I was in there to do that song. I had to do another one, pulled it from the hip, fucking knocked it out the box. After Tuesday morning, I get a phone call from the radio station. But hey, you won. I'm like, sweet, I knew it. And even the guy that called me, the DJ that called me, he was like, dude, you won unanimously. Like, you won the moment you got off
Yeah.
stage. And I'm like, cool, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So then, funny thing was, when they connected me with Live Nation, because it was at a Live Nation venue at the amphitheater, my contact over there to call is somebody I know, a buddy of mine. He was like, of course you fucking won.
That
Like,
networking. Yeah.
of course you did. So, I got to talk to their management. They told me what song it was going to be. It was a song I was rehearsing that I really love. It's just a rap track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I showed up and did the fucking
Prove it.
song with Fred. It was fucking amazing. And right at the end, I've never met Fred before, personally, physically.
Yeah.
But right at the end, we gave each other a hug. And I said to him, and I go, yo, it's me, Cheech, from Call of Duty. Fred and I had been playing Call of Duty for like 6 months before this,
Shit.
not knowing this was coming. We were
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
playing Call of Duty, and he looked at me like, what the fuck? For real? And I'm like, yeah. So then we walked down stage center, and because I'm me, I like selfless plugs, you know what I mean? He's fucking shouting me out to 20,000 people, and I'm in his fucking ear, and I go, hey, KMFDM is? He was like, yeah. I said, check him out. I'm in the band. And he was like, what? So, like, again, selfless plugs. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna take my shot where I can.
Of course. Yeah.
But that was also one of those moments I never imagined. I'd never visioned that. I was never working towards that. Like, that was being on stage in front of 20,000 people with Limp Bizkit, performing a song with them, mine or theirs, who gives a fuck? Never on the fucking bucket list. Never on the fucking bingo card. Nothing. It
That
just
had to
happened.
be intense. I can't even imagine.
It was cool, man. But also, at the end of the day, like, I was born and bred for that shit. And when I say born and bred to say I'm gonna train my whole life for these moments. Like,
Yeah.
there wasn't anything about me that wasn't ready to get on stage in front of 20,000 people. Like, there was nothing that was like, you got this. Like, when I got on stage, if you watch the video, like the last moment, right when the track starts and I bounce stage left, I fucking tap him and I go, I got you, Fred. And that was because you could take a back seat, dog. I got this track and watch me run it. And I did,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we had a ball together,
Yes. And there's
Uh,
like clips of that and stuff online that people can check out, right?
There is. I actually, my man Zach, he was there. He was there with his wife and kid. I had my wife and kid on stage. My son, he was just about a year and a half at the time. He fell asleep the song before I went on stage. He would have never remembered it anyways, but he fell asleep right before I went on stage.
You're there. That's what matters.
So that was surreal having them out there. So he was live. So we got the live on my Instagram. We've also got POV from right in the pit at the barricade, the whole track, on Instagram and YouTube. And I recently, because also that night, funny enough, working in the fucking industry, me and my man Zach are backstage, and comes running up to me, my homie Gabe. He was like, dog, I'm out there working in the video trailer. And they say, we got a special guest to come out to do a song with us. And I pan over and it's you. So my homie gave me the IMAX footage. So I got the IMAX footage too. And I got that up on my Facebook. I put that up. I want to get it on YouTube. So I have like house audio, IMAX footage, like I have a great feed of it. There's a lot of
Damn.
footage of it up there. So,
Very
and
cool.
again, it was for that moment. Like, I didn't do that for any other reason than that moment.
Yeah.
Like, That's what I did it for. Don't get me wrong. I did it for the artist in me. I did it for the years of remembering it, the legacy of being able to tell my kids about that shit. But I didn't do it for anything beyond that point to do with that issue. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's like,
Yeah.
this isn't going to make sure that I'm fucking working with Limp Bizkit in the future. This was just me doing it. Yeah. Am I staying in touch with their management? Sure. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Always will. When I get this
Yeah.
fucking band off the fucking ground, am I going to shoot their management over my project and be like, dog, yo, because he's in a band, we chat, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to share my shit with him. Why? Because it's one of my resources. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck anybody who's out there like, what's the word somebody called me once? An opportunist. You motherfucking right, I'm an opportunist. Fuck you out of here, dog. Fuck out of here. Offer me something. Tell me I'm not going to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Put something on the table and give me the opportunity to say yes or no.
That's how it is. It's all about that networking, looking for those opportunities and being ready. So you have to be. I've been asking you a lot of questions. I always like to switch things up towards the end and ask, is there any question you would want to ask me?
Yeah, what's the story with Seven Factor, dude? Like, I need to know. Like, it's like some weird thing that exists in the universe. Kind of like some of the musicians that I know. How like they're these goddamn fucking like these important pieces to music, but they just float around in this weird universe of a very, very niche, particular market. Not even a fan basis, but more of a market. Like the new videos you guys got coming out. That shit is like, is that CGI? That's not AI. That's CGI, right?
So it is AI, actually.
Is it? 'Cause that shit
Yeah.
looks really good for AI.
Yeah. Thank
Like,
you. So,
it really
uh,
does. And I was like, I can't tell if this is CGI or AI because a lot of AI looks like it.
yeah, you know what it is. So there's a lot of debate on both sides as far as using AI and stuff like that. And the way that I made that video, I didn't just go to AI and type in "make me cool music video" and it spit that out.
I'm
Right.
sure.
What I did was I wrote for each video an entire screenplay, and then I would break that screenplay down into a shot list. And so the shot list is going to have the camera angle, the camera being used, the type of lens being used, the focal point.
Yeah,
What,
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
is it
That's
eye
a lot because
level?
there's a lot of different fucking shots in that fucking thing.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
That's a lot of
is
work.
it,
That literally is a full fucking shoot. Like that's a full fucking video shoot. It's a
yeah.
storyline, fucking everything.
Uh-huh. And then I took the shot list and I made storyboards from it. And then I inputted all that information in AI. And then for every 8 seconds, I would tell it, this is the lighting, this is the camera angle, this is the motion of the camera, this is the lens I want to use, this is who's in it, this is what they're wearing, this is what they're doing. And I would write literally 2 pages for every 8 seconds. So it took me for every second of video, it took me about 2 hours of work.
Fuck.
Yeah.
See, that's not
So
me. That's not me.
yeah. So it's all AI, but I used AI as a tool. Like I said, it isn't just I went make cool music video. It's that I knew I could capture shots and do things with the AI that I couldn't practically do, whether it's for logistics or finances. Like to shoot that on film would have been a 6-figure
Oh my
shoot
god, that would have been a fucking $200,000 film.
at least, right?
That's a fucking 1998 video shoot.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's be honest. That's a 1998 video shoot. That's big budget. That's fucking what's his name? Williams. Hype Williams. You know what I
yeah.
mean? That's fucking that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, to answer your question, I mean, Seven Factors, it's my band, it's an art project. It's industrial metal, but there's more to it on kind of behind the curtain that we don't really talk about ever publicly. So that's kind of that may be that weird thing you're picking up on, like there's something else going on there, because there is.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
well,
more
I
than just a
have.
band, but what?
You know, it's like, it's just one of those things that, like I said, it exists without fully understanding of it. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
you were there for our first show ever.
that was your first show. No, no.
Yeah.
If you were on, wait, Seven Factor, who were you? What was the band in 2011 then?
Human Factors Lab.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So, which again, very, very similar in the sense of it's me. I'm writing all the music. I'm putting together live players to go take it live. It sounds similar, so they're very interconnected. But Seven Factor is I put HFL to rest and started Seven Factor because I felt boxed in creatively. It's like, oh, you have to be this industrial band, and I felt like I couldn't go outside of that. So I had more things I wanted to do artistically, so that's kind of why. And then so yeah, the Houston Scout Bar, Houston, Texas was
The
the
Scout
first.
Bar. Oh yeah.
That was
That
with
was the first
KMFDM.
one,
That was
huh?
yeah, that was the
I
first
fucking
Human
hate
Factors
that
Lab.
venue, dude. I hate the location of that venue. I hate that venue. I mean, we always did good there, but god damn, man.
I just remember
Houston
the
sucks.
guitars on the
I don't like
wall.
this. I don't like that. Oh,
Yeah,
the guitars on the wall were fire, dude. For
yeah,
for for a little place like that to have that kind of shit on the wall, I was like, all right, at least you have something cool in here because your stage sucks. And it was
yeah.
like, what was it? But like the stage was right inside of the front door. You walk in and you're like stage right.
Yep.
Like if I remember right. That shit was trash. We couldn't fit any of our rig in there. None of that shit.
Uh, we had fun. We liked it. Well, cool, man. Well, but before we wrap up,
Who is that? Who is that you toured with? Your boy Sean?
Sean, dude, Sean is killing it.
Yeah,
Have you
where's
talked
he
to him
at these
lately?
days? I haven't. I know we're connected somewhere. I just don't know where. But is he still
Sean
working?
is he ever, bro? So Sean, so right after that tour, I left Orlando and I moved out to LA. And Sean came out like so I moved out there. I started working in the studio and it was all like A-list hip hop is what we were doing, right?
That's what you were telling me.
Yeah. And so like my first day there was tracking French Montana, day one. And I'm doing all this stuff and I was like, man. And so I hit up Source, Sean, and
Source,
I
how
hit
is
him.
that?
Yeah. And I hit him up and I was like, dude, this is what I'm working on. He at that time he was a phenomenal engineer. I was like, you got to come out here. You got to come work in the studio with me, man. Like you would kill it out here. And he did. And so we worked in the studio together and I left. I went back to working with in the tech industry, still doing music, but I stopped doing audio, working at an actual studio, was freelancing as an engineer and working in tech again. And he started working for Megan Thee Stallion. He was her
Shit.
engineer from day one, and he's still her engineer. So anything you
Good
hear,
shit for him, man.
yeah, he got I want to say 3 Grammys at this point, maybe more. And he's got way more platinum than I do, I'm sure. He's
That's awesome
killing
to
it,
hear.
man.
That's
And I'll
awesome to
tell
hear.
you what, if there's anybody I know that deserves that, it's that dude because he worked so hard and he was underpaid for a lot of that time and he killed it. I mean, he came out on tour with us and that was not his world. He was, and he killed it every
Right.
night.
Right.
Just
Right.
absolutely killed it.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
There's a couple things I didn't bring up in this little situation here, and that
Yeah,
is
what yeah,
my current state of affairs in the music world.
let's
Um,
talk about it.
I've got an amazing rap group that we started about a year and a half ago. Called the Street Sweepers. I recommend anybody out there that's listening to tap in and check them out if you like fun rap, fun, good, feel good hip hop.
Where can they find it? Do you have socials or any of that?
Yeah, Street Sweepers SLC. Street Sweepers SLC is where you can find us. You can just search the Street Sweepers on Spotify, Apple Music, anything like that. My man Zach Ivy, Dumb Luck, and myself. Super fun, dope rap group. Definitely, like I said, if any of you out there in the industrial world, and I discovered this when I was on tour with KMFDM, rapping on tour with them. I know a lot of you guys, you you're connected a little bit to that 90s hip hop world, and you know some of you guys really dug a lot of that shit. Well, if you like that 90s hip hop feel, you're gonna love the Street Sweepers. Promise to God, check them out. Seven, you too, motherfucker. Check their shit out.
Yeah, man.
um,
We got to do some work together, man. We definitely got to do some stuff.
definitely do. And then just about a year ago, my man Zach, also Zach Ivy from the Street Sweepers, we linked up with a band that wanted to make some music. And so Zach was like, "Yeah, let's make some music. What do you guys think about some new metal shit?" So can I bring my man Ocelot on?
This was right after he just rocked with Limp Bizkit, and we were like, "Dude, let's make something."
There you
Yeah.
go.
And
You know what I mean?
funny
Let's make
enough,
something new.
I'm pretty sure the whole Connor's the brain. It's his brainchild, right? Yeah. So our drummer Connor, it was like his idea, but he was at the Limp Bizkit concert.
Okay.
And he drunkenly, when I came out on stage, I'd never met him before. I know who he was. He drunkenly looked to his fiance and said, "I'm going to get this motherfucker in my studio this year. Watch it." So here we are a year later. And we've been smashing out tracks. I sent you some of our demos.
Yeah.
It's called Lobster Knockout. We are on the Instagram. It is Lobster Knockout, just as it sounds, Lobster Knockout. You can call us LKO for short. But it's some super heavy fucking new metal shit. On this one, I am, able to experiment a little bit more. It is more of, it's not a just straight raw hip hop sound. And we are writing with the band, in the studio. Most of my writing has been done in the studio. A lot of that because, that's the space that I can find to write in. And we have great studio sessions. I'm excited to get some music out this year.
Yeah.
Very soon. Um, and I'm excited for everybody to listen to that shit when it comes out. Just a new lane, for creativity, as well as fun. The guys in the band are great. Me and Zach, we got great chemistry anyways. So, again, a big part of this, and just like any music I've ever made, I create music to perform it. I don't create music for, hidden tracks on albums. I create music to fucking rock shows, and that's what Lobster Knockout's all about. So we're stoked to get out there in the world and start rocking shows soon too. So
I'm excited to see that when it comes live.
the
Definitely.
Street Sweepers and Lobster Knockout. Fuck around.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks again for coming and doing this. I'm glad we connected and got you on here. It was good. It's good seeing you again.
Yeah, man. I like connecting with my old peoples. I also like being able to share my story.
Yeah.
There's a few things that I spoke on in here that I don't get to speak on a regular basis. And in all reality of the things, if that can, help motivate somebody, then, awesome. Because, and also just the idea of, just, if the simple fact to be motivated by making music is just the music, like that's what I've always been about. So if that alone can help somebody to stay motivated, be like, oh, wow, you don't ever got to get angry with making music. You just always create it and never get pissed off. Not gonna lie, like a hard thing is being in a band. You know what I mean? I haven't had any of these problems with these people. But the first rap group I was in, it was just me and another guy. Well, it ended because if we didn't stop rapping together, we wouldn't be friends 40 years later. Well, guess what? 22 years later, we're still best friends.
Good.
And he's uncle to my kid, and but it's like being in a band ain't easy. There's a lot of you watching, and Seven. But you're with the right people for the right reasons. That's what it's about. And honestly, that's why we are all making music. The Street Sweepers are making music because we're all friends. Our wives are all friends. Our fucking kids are all friends. And this band is making music because we just want to fucking make cool music and get on stage and rock it. So if that wasn't the motivation around all of what I'm doing right now, I wouldn't be doing it, because that doesn't bring good things home for me and my family. Because I am a husband, I am a father of one, with another one on the way. My man Zach's got one doing 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, some shit, maybe
Wow.
like 12 days. Mine's doing January. I am a family man, so I like to bring home good energy to my fucking family. I don't want to go to band practice and come home bitching about my band when I go to work and come home bitching about my job all the time anyway. So, but yeah, man, thanks for having me, man. It's an absolute blast.
Yeah, man, appreciate you.
In the short of things, everybody, Yes. Quit your day job.
Awesome, brother.